If you haven't taken my community survey yet, go to ElleryWells.com/survey and tell me what you think of my blog, the podcast, me, what I'm doing well, what I suck at, because I want to hear from you, number one. And number two, today's today's show, which is 4 tips for growing your email list. Very non-typical tips that you have probably not something that you've heard 100 times. But this episode, which you're about to hear, comes directly from the responses in my community survey. So sit back, relax. Well, not too much. I mean, we're not having wine and cookies. Do you have wine with cookies? Anyway, sit back, grab a pen and paper, and let's dive right in. I'm not one of those entrepreneurs who gave up their 6-figure salary and fancy office to start a business, and I wasn't selling lemonade to my neighbors when I was 7. I wasn't born an entrepreneur, and I never laid awake at night dreaming of owning my own business. My name is Ellery Wells, and I was forced to make a decision. Welcome to the Ellery Wells Show, where we talk with real entrepreneurs about real problems that they're facing and real solutions on how they are overcoming obstacles, achieving their goals, and making a difference in the world. If you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, this is the place to be to help you start, build, or grow your business. So I've talked about building email lists a few times on my blog, probably a few times here on the podcast as well. I've talked about how to get better results with your email campaigns. I've talked about ways not to grow your email list, and how do you get your emails into the inbox. And I wrote about it in chapter 27 of Exit Strategy, but people still have questions, and that's all right, because things change. People discover me, do a Google search, and land on my site or whatever at all different stages of business. So I've got to repurpose. I've got to answer new questions based on my current level of information or knowledge or experience. So that's all right, but you can always search. There's a search box on my sidebar. You can always search in email lists or something like that and get all of the results. Actually, you know what I do? I go to Google and I search Ellery Wells and then the topic, and if I've written about it, you should get a result. Hopefully you will. I do, but Google tailors our results anyway. But searching through archived content, I know people you see a date of like 2014. Holy crap. I don't want to read that junk. So I've got to keep writing about it, and Google search engines like new stuff too, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, today I want to look at some non-typical, I think atypical is the right word, but atypical ways to grow your email list, and how to convince people that signing up is worth them sharing their email address with you, and then maybe some more tactical ways you can entice people to join your community. But we're not going to do a whole lot of tactical stuff. Let me tell you just real quick, if you've got one opt-in box on your site, you've got probably too few. So, whenever one of my clients added, I think she added a pop-up, which everybody hates them, but they work, so get over it. And then she added added 2 or 3 into the body of her post, her opt-in started going way up, which honestly, maybe I should do that, because I don't think I usually put opt-in boxes in the middle of my posts anymore, and I don't know why. So we're not going to talk about, where you should put stuff, what service you should use, or all that kind of stuff, but we are going to talk about 4 tips that you can do that you probably won't hear anybody else, because nobody wants to join an email list. We guard our email addresses almost as closely as we fend off attackers asking for our cell phone numbers. I was in Smoothie King, like I am every Wednesday, and the girl asked, I think it was what my phone number was. And at Best Buy, in my reward zone, they want to know what your email address is. I'm like, why do you want to know that? What do you mean? Because she had just scanned, this girl at Smoothie King, she had just scanned my phone, so I get points. And she's like, what is your phone number? I was like, you just scanned it. Why do you need it? Anyway, while 20 years ago, it was cool to get an email. Now, new messages are kind of like, ugh, what now? Actually, text is not too bad. Maybe that's more for phone calls. Like, why couldn't you just text me? Anyway, depending on how old you are, your response to that and your reaction to what I just said might change. But if you're going to grow your email list, you got to do something extra special. So that's tip number 1, do something special. Why? How are you going to make people feel special? What kind of special information? What kind of special tools? Unique, exclusive. You know, when somebody's going to give you their email address, they want something special. Moving on, the other night, I was enjoying a cigar with an acquaintance, and like your relationship with many of your readers or listeners, his and I's relationship, he and my, whatever, swirled around a mutual connection and a passing interest. And I'm being vague because he probably won't listen to this, but you know, that whole 7 degrees of separation of Kevin Bacon, there's like 3 or 4 people who do listen to this that are kind of, on that chain of whatever. But while we were enjoying our Maduros, he said, hey, you should buy whatever. And if you don't like it, I'll take it. Everybody likes getting things for free. And though we don't always value what we get for free, we still like getting those things. So that guy said, hey, if you don't want to buy it, I'll take it. You just give it for free. Give it to me for free if you don't like it. So whether it's a 10% off coupon, a free strategy session, although I don't really like that one. I don't really do a whole lot of free strategy sessions anymore. Or a few of your favorite books through a giveaway, you should give something away for free to your audience. Again, exclusive emails, those kinds of things. My buddy and client John Stolpe's doing a free something about like, I think a retake is what he called it, do-over. My clients, Bridget and Brenda, are both doing 5-day challenges, one for busy moms, one for artists, and it's free training, it's free material, and they have both grown their lists quite a bit. So tip number 2, give something for free. Over the past few months and years, Facebook groups have become very popular, and I just mentioned 2 of these clients, but fan pages used to be all the rage. Now those are dead-ish, and groups are where it's at, and I think I just kind of said that in reverse, but the groups are where it's at, and that's where Bridget and Brenda are seeing a lot of success, because after all, we don't necessarily want to be fans, but we do like being part of a community. No, not like that. Not like the commune or the, compound. That's the word I'm looking for. Not like a compound. Anyway, two of my clients, two of these ladies have gotten amazing results and grown their email list significantly, nearly doubled them in the past few months, all because they started Facebook groups and built a community and engaged with their members. Brenda Mullard is an artist, a teacher, and an entrepreneur from Wisconsin, and she started the Facebook group Art Teachers Teaching Art. You can go to Facebook, in that little search box, type in Art Teachers Teaching Art, and if you don't get the immediate result, you can go over, like right under the search bar, there will be a thing for groups, and you should be able to find it. And when I asked Brenda about advice for growing an email list by leveraging a Facebook group, she said the biggest tip is to start a group without even thinking about making a cent from it. Start a group. Yeah, start a group. She said it right. I'm mixing it up. Start it, as in your group, to genuinely start a group for the avatar you care about, not people you want to buy from you. Help people to get engaged and start a community people want to come to for help. Help others in the group, or just to be with others like themselves. And again, her group is Art Teachers Teaching Art. And another client and an entrepreneur, Bridget Petrino, has also seen amazing email list growth, because that's what we're talking about, after starting her Facebook group, Mommy Needs a Timeout Community. From this group, again, you can search it, find the same thing. From this group, she signed new coaching clients, sold products, and found some real validation in her branding and marketing strategies, which is something a lot of entrepreneurs need, is some validation that we're not nuts. And by the way, if you want to join my group, it's a free public group of entrepreneurs. You've heard me talk about empowering and equipping entrepreneurs. So guess what? The Empowered and Equipped Facebook group is out there for you. And if you want to search for that, doing the same thing, I would love to connect with you there. So tip number 3 is start a Facebook group. And finally, while Bridget has done some amazing things and done amazingly well with her Facebook group for busy moms, she attributed her email list growth to something else. And when I asked her for her best tip for growing an email list, she said, I wanted to do a Bridget voice so bad right now, and I don't know what that would sound like, Bridget, so I won't do it. But the best advice Bridget can give is to hustle like crazy. Guest post, figure out an opt-in that converts, and get visible. Great advice. Short, simple, to the point, but Bridget's advice is really great because it is quick and off the cuff. But more importantly, it's because her suggestion has a lot of value packed into it. So we're going to take a deeper look. The first thing she said is hustle. Putting up an opt-in form won't cut it. You've got to create content that builds your authority and makes you look irresistible to your prospective customers. And we talked about that in the episode you'll find called How to Create Content That Builds Your Business from March 6th. We talked about that, and that takes a lot of hustle. The next thing Bridget said is to guest post. Bridget's inspirational and empowering writing has been featured on the front page of Thrive Global several times. And I think she's actually the one that pushed me to get a few of my pieces on Thrive Global. So that, I mean, you don't just show up and like submit something and get on the front page, but she put in the time, she put in the hustle, and she got featured there because people like what she has to say. The next thing she mentioned is the high converting opt-ins. I tried almost 12, maybe more, different lead magnets before I found one that really attracted people to sign up. And if you are struggling to find a lead magnet with a high opt-in rate, I wrote a post called 5 Key Criteria of a Killer Lead Magnet. Again, if you search for that in Ellery Wells in your Google search bar, you could probably find it. There might have been a podcast episode about it, but I don't know. Oh yeah, that's way back September 8th of 2015. So it's there in the archives if you want to go back and listen to what those 5 key criteria are. The last thing that Bridget said, and then this rounds out the tip number 4, is to get visible. And I bet a lot of people will just kind of tune this out as this kind of last piece of advice, but it's likely the most important part of what Bridget said. And as I said on a post, actually it was kind of tucked into a blog post and podcast episode. Let's see, this would have been on March 30, 2017, about if you wanted to pick my brain. This number one problem that small businesses face is obscurity. So if you listen to the end of that episode, if you read to the bottom of that email and blog post, you know that the number one problem is people just don't know who the heck you are. And it might not be that people choose not to buy from you or don't want to buy from you. They just might not know that you even have something to sell and that they can buy from you. So get visible. The market is crowded, just like I was talking about. Was that in this episode or the last one? I just recorded 2 in one day. Sorry, guys. But that's a great reason to go back to the last episode if this doesn't ring a bell. But if you have this college degree and everybody else does, what do you do to stand out? I think that was the last show. But the market is crowded. Nobody knows who you are. There are probably close to 8 billion people on the earth. There's 350-ish million in the United States. There's, I don't know, like 75, 80 million in the UK. How are you going to stand out? It's not that people don't want to be on your email list. They just might not know it even exists. So again, tip number 4 is to get visible. Now, I will tell you that I set out to have 4 tips. And I did, and I think they're pretty good ones. But I have 2 even better tips that you can take advantage of. So if you go to, this is not going to be a pretty link. If you go to ellerywells.com/blog and you can see this one. You could go to /OH3D, but that's just the pretty link that was automatically generated. But if you go to ellerywells.com and search for 4 tips for growing your email list, I have 2 bonus tips for you that I think are well worth trading your email for. But there you have it, 4 tips, and you can get the 2 bonuses about how you can grow your email list. Sure, anybody can write about, talk about, do a podcast episode about, opt-in boxes that convert, blue versus purple versus red versus green. I have that data. I have run split tests, but it's not what I wanted to do. Again, we don't need to talk. Anybody can talk about why pop-ups work. Anybody can talk about why multiple forms are needed on a page. Kind of talked about that a second ago. But I hope these 6 tips, 4 and 2 bonuses, are unique and are helpful. That's kind of what I want to do. Be unique and be ultimately helpful, empower you and equip you. And this is kind of a different approach. So let's recap. And we will wrap up for today or let you go right on to the next episode. The first tip for growing your email list, number 1, do something special. Number 2, give something for free. Number 3, start a Facebook group. Number 4, get visible. Bonus 1. Oh, you thought I was going to say it, didn't you? Nope. I like having fun behind the microphone, possibly because I've been sitting in here for 7 hours and it's only just 3:45 in the afternoon. Anyway, finally, it's not always about how you make the offer. It's not always about the opt-in box that you offer. I mean, Craigslist is ugly, right? And people will go in there and register and do all that kind of crap all the time. It's not always about how you present the offer. Sometimes it's actually about the offer itself. So make someone's life better and remove or make their life better and or remove a pain point, and the subscribers will follow. If you'd like to join my email list, I mean, you've kind of been lurking in the sidelines listening to the podcast, and that's cool. But go to ellerywells.com/awesome, and I'll send you the tools that I use. Seriously, I was just thinking, man, I need to redo that opt-in. I need to come up with new tools, but I still use the same. I still use those. I don't know why I'd come up with new ones. Plus, a lot of people have downloaded them. I'll give you a hint. I think on that list is Evernote. Man, every blog post I write starts in Evernote. Every single one. Maybe 99%. I've probably broken that rule, but go to ellerywells.com/awesome. Get in my email list. I'll send you some really cool stuff in addition to the tools that you initially opt in for. And, let's build something amazing together. Cause, whoever said lonely, it's lonely at the top. I don't think they did it right. I think you can be successful and do business with your friends and family. If you do it the right way, you set the ground rules, blah, blah, blah. But just because one of us is successful doesn't mean the other one doesn't have to be. And I'd love to be successful with you. So join the email list, say hello, share your feedback, take the surveys, do all that kind of stuff. And let's do something amazing together. I'd love to be a part of your journey. And heck, I already am. You've been here for 19 minutes. So anyway, from Round Rock, Texas, I'm your host, Ellery Wells. Go do something awesome. Oh, speaking of doing something awesome, come to Round Rock in June for Mastermind Weekend. This is not an afterthought. I wanted to record this today, so it's not like, Ellery's not paying attention to Mastermind Weekend. Go to ellerywells.com/mmweekend. Go to ellerywells.com/mmweekend and check out the page for that. I am hosting here pretty close to my home a 2-day, day and a half, that's like 2 days, mastermind event live, handshakes, hugs, all that bit. I'm including some food. I'll pick you up from the airport if you arrive by a certain time. The details are over there at /MM Weekend. And I want to help you move your business forward. Honestly, if you've never sold a product for your business, this is probably not the event for you. This isn't really one where we're going to like figure out the meaning of life for your business, why it exists, mission statements. We're going to be talking about growing business, increasing revenue and traffic through content marketing and email retargeting and probably some Facebook ads, because those are really powerful right now. So if you don't have a business that would apply to, might not be the best event for you. Plus, early bird pricing is just over $900, which that expires like soon. So if you are listening to this and the episode's been out a while, you don't have much time left to either get your ticket or to get early bird pricing. So, but again, if you're at the very, very early stages of your business, it's probably not right for you. But I want to help as many entrepreneurs be successful, go full time, quit their day jobs or make them less dependent or help you fund your next vacation. And I think Mastermind Weekend is going to be a fantastic way to do that. What's the URL? Yep, you're pretty close. ElleryWells.com/MM weekend. I hope to see you there. Again, from Round Rock, Texas, I'm going to go have a cigar. And I'm your host, Ellery Wells. Have an awesome day. Yeah.